Greetings, fellow Ambazonians. Today we will dive inside a presentation made by Chief Justice Ayah, a honorable Ambazonian that we respect so much and somebody that I look upon and many of our generation look upon for guidance and for honesty and for character. Justice Ayah is a humanitarian who have demonstrated a level of selflessness in his service to our people. He has stood for justice for our people. He was a founder of a political party in Cameroon, and he has since stepped down, I think, because of this struggle for the most part. He has been imprisoned severally by the president of Cameroon and tortured and almost killed for his political stance. Due to popular demand, many of our people have pushed to us in the People's Right Advocative Platform a presentation that he made that we should address the content of what he said. And in light of what we are pushing, which is an alternative solution that calls for the devolution of power and authority from the Constitution of Cameroon to grant the former British Southern Cameroons, Ambazonia, autonomy and self-governance as a solution to remove the conflict from the battlefield to the negotiation table for a just solution. We are obligated by this, by the very nature of what we are pushing, to explain to our people why they should accept this solution of devolution of Cameroon as an alternative solution, because we believe we cannot have independence immediately. And we also believe that it is morally wrong for us to allow the war to go on endlessly. So we are obligated to do what we are doing for the service for our people and for the betterment of our people. So we have to defend why people have to accept this, and we have to give them the reasons. And part of this involves us explaining why we have to accept one Cameroon, two people as a first step for our people to achieve their long-term goal of independence. So welcome, fellow Ambazonians. Today is 25th of March, and we will go straight to this program. The content is very rich. He speaks to the root causes. He speaks to the United Nations Resolution 1608. It speaks to the argument that we have made so far. One of the things that I came out from Canada with was a richness of research work that we have done, some commissioned by international experts to find out really what is the reality of the status of the former British Southern Cameroon, that is currently West Cameroon. What is the status of our Anglophone people vis-a-vis the Union of Cameroon? And Justice Ayah have come out very strongly. I'm going to play it and I'm going to address it in a way that I believe only us can address it, because we believe we have been ordained for this job by God. We believe we are doing God's work for our people. So let me play this video. It's a video from Equinox, edited by the SCBC, and I have re-edited it. So let us watch it together. And I do so with a lot of humility, because these are people that I grew up as a young man learning from them. So I will play the video, and I will be interrupting the video to put forth my response and reaction in order for our people to be able to make up their mind.
Can the bonds be brought together, be strengthened?
First, by telling the truth, by facing facts. Tell the truth. Let us face facts. The famous United Nations Resolution 15.
Okay, I will take and small, and I will talk for pidgin so that make all our people then hear for ground zero. Then I ask Pa Justice Ayah say, now wait if you really take and for solve this war problem. The war where people they continue for die on both sides. Pa Adan talk say, first, we must start by telling the truth. Second, by facing facts. As una know me as be Mr. No Connie, my big mommy, Mama Nieta, no be name me sense pass king for nothing. So we go talk only the truth. We go bring only facts for any rational human being for consider them for themselves and see whether we to the talk am na mispresentation or then twist them or any other thing. We will give you the truth just as it is. And believe me, this one will be very, very helpful for our population. So maybe we'll go through way Justice Ayah Paul in the talker.
I mean, 1606, parenthesis 15, of 21st April.
So just one correction. Pa Ayah Paul it talks say na resolution 1606. But I think say na just a small mistake. Na resolution 1608. Especially for people the way they want to do research for follow up, for fact check, for know whether we talk the correct thing or not. So I feel say na just a common mistake. So na resolution 1608, and it shows say all man to fit make mistake. Even Justice Ayah Paul fit make a mistake like this. So make we continue for follow way to way the talk, and we will address them so that I mean all man know the truth because it be very important. Remember, as we always talk, only the truth shall set you. So let's listen.
1961 called on three governments, the Republic of Cameroon and Southern Cameroons. Southern Cameroons had a government at that time to come together and finalize the joining. That's the word they used, I think in capital letters, to finalize. Even quacks at law know that there is no international come together that is oral, that ends up in oral resolution, in oral whatever. Everything is documentary. The day Cameroonese and Cameroonians admit that the joining was inconclusive is the beginning of the resolution of the problem we have today.
So Para explain them very well. He talks say for the resolution 1608, he talks say make three government then come together. The British government, the Southern Cameroon government led by Jongo Foncha, and the French Cameroon government led by Amadou Ahidjo. May then come together, finalize agreement, they coming together, they joining as Pa and Tokam. I go one make we read the text. I think Pa also talks say they write the finalize now for capital letter. I also feel say maybe not just slight mistake because with H also if it be possible say Pa no the emphasis reflect that that particular talk, but not be a big deal. So make I put the resolution for the computer just in case me people then know say we don't see them. And I go do two things. We go do them small. The first thing I go do na say I go read the resolution. And then for the Southern Cameroon elites, then we don't already take time for write about what will happen for Fumban, where will be the follow up for this conference. I go read that one later. But first I go want for read the resolution itself. Make una hear so that make una know which way the resolution it talk am. The resolution way it be they be take it dey now on the they be adopt them for the Fifth Committee on the 21st of April 1961. Is it 1961? Yeah, let me double check the date. Me too, if I make mistake, it's 1961, I'll be right. Now this I go read them. The resolution for the Fifth Committee, I might read them the way they write them, make una hear. So that make man you know make mistake. They start and say recalling resolution 1352. That one it is talking about the sovereignty. So na very big thing. It come now for the conclusion. I go read now the conclusion the way they adopt them. That means the way to be the resolution it adopt them, the decision the way they talk them with Pa Ayah Paul it refer them. Now then that for them now then 5 of those resolution them way them pass them. The first one I say they express high appreciation for the work with the United Nations Plebiscite Commissioner he be do am under the for and his staff member the way they be do am for that plebiscite. Number two thing where he do and I say talks we see it endorse the result of the plebiscite. One result we endorse and the one for the northern Cameroon, the part for our side we join Nigeria. The second one, it comes to the people of southern Cameroon have similarly decided to achieve independence by joining the independent Republic of Cameroon. Make una notice the word decided, have decided, that is a word of choice, have decided to join the Republic of Cameroon. I'll get to the statement of finalizing so that una fit hear which way the text it actually talk. Number three, it talks consider that the people of the two parts of the trust territory having freely and sacredly expressed their wishes with regards to their respective futures in accordance with the General Resolution 1352. That 1352 is a very strong one. They talk about sovereignty. So they decide on sovereignty to create sovereignty. If you don't learn about sovereignty extinction or sovereignty creation, you will be familiar with these terms. The decision made by them through democratic process under the supervision of the United Nations shall be immediately implemented. Immediately implemented. Wait, talk na say the decision where the northern Cameroon they don't take for the plebiscite and the decision where the southern Cameroon they don't take for plebiscite, one for join Nigeria, the other one for join Cameroon, should be immediately implemented. Remember, say some of the talk we would talk and I say the plebiscite was not a decision, it was an opinion. That was what we were told, our people were told, and that is part of the shortcomings of our people for accepting the plebiscite in the first place. They could have fought for their independence, they did not. Our forefathers did not. The plebiscite, even though it was in technical terms a consultation process in the United Nations where the authority comes from, the resolution declare it as a decision. So we should be clear on that. You will see other texts how it also refers to the plebiscite as a decision. You may call it injustice or just, but if this is a source of the law, it is good that you know what it says. The fourth thing we decide and say, this one now they go for the crux of the matter. The fourth thing, decide that the plebiscite having been taken separately with different results. It talk about the different and different results concerning the Cameroons under the United Kingdom administration shall be terminated. Okay. It talk about the termination of the Article 4. It talk about the termination of the trusteeship agreement where the British government began for our territory over our sovereignty. I'll read on those the way we did. Decides that the plebiscite having been taken separately with different result, the territory agreement of 13 December 1946 concerning the Cameroon under United Kingdom administration shall be terminated. This is very important. Shall be. It doesn't put a specific date where the trusteeship agreement shall be terminated in accordance with Article 76B of the Charter of the United Nations and in agreement with the administering authority in the following manner. So remember two things with this resolution, this paragraph 4, the talk. It talks about it. They shall terminate the UK trusteeship in the following manner. 1. With respect to Northern Cameroon, on the 1st of June 1961, upon its joining the Federal Republic of Nigeria as a separate province of the northern region of Nigeria. So it talks from the 1st of June, the northern part of our territory, the British Cameroon, it will become part of the province of northern region of Nigeria, part of Nigeria. It comes for number B. With respect to the southern Cameroon, on the 1st of October 1961, upon its joining of Cameroon, the Republic of Cameroon. So on the 1st of October, the termination of the British mandate in our territory and our union with Cameroon. The date is 1st of October. It comes automatically with the termination of the trusteeship agreement. So once the trusteeship agreement with the British is terminated, the United Nations law is that union with Cameroon is achieved. This is the paragraph where Justice Ayah just read, the last paragraph, number 5. Listen very well. It says, invites the administrating authority of the government of the Southern Cameroon, administering authority. Remember, administering authority is our government there. They were administering it under the British mandate. It was part of the British territory. So the administering government, the Republic of Cameroon, to initiate. So invites the administering authority. The administering authority is Britain, the government of the Southern Cameroons, and the Republic of Cameroon to initiate urgent discussion in view to finalizing before 1st October 1961 the arrangement by which the agreed and declared policies of the party concerns will be implemented. Remember, they have already agreement. The arrangement by which the agreed and declared parties of the party concern will be implemented. They had already agreed. There were certain things that had already been agreed. How will they be implemented? So the agreement that was supposed to be made in the prescribed negotiation, or what they call constitutional negotiation in Fumban, you should see the context in the text. It says that they were to finalize agreement on what? The arrangement by which the agreed and declared parties concerned will be implemented. So they are talking about the content of the union being finalized, not the union itself. Because Article 4 says that the union will start with the termination of the British mandate, which is on the 1st of October. When it comes about finalizing, it talks about discussion with, let me read the same text again so that you hear very well. I'm saying this because it has been researched. And these are some of the technical things that Cameroon government have declared that our movement was radical and extreme and not in conformity with the international law and the African Union and the United Nations. And they keep on insisting that we are trying to create a new country. And these are some of the reasons. So we must get this right and listen to me very carefully. I will read it again and then I will explain them for Pidgin now. Make all man hear very well. It talks say, invite the administering authority, the one it talk now for Britain, the government of Southern Cameroon, it talk about Jongu Fonche government, the Republic of Cameroon, to initiate urgent discussion in view of finalizing. Say me then start for talk, me then make urgent talk for finish before 1st October 1961. So this arrangement they are talking should be before, it has a deadline, before 1st of October 1961. The arrangement, talking about the arrangement by which the agreed and declared parties of the concern will be implemented. So when I hear very well, I go play Justice Ayah again, make it talk, because we therefore examine the facts and the truth. As per Ayah talk, indeed, not only the truth we have to solve this problem, and we must be able to speak the truth. So there is a difference that we must distinguish. There is a need for, there is something that was not finalized. The Fumban conference was not finalized. I'll read a little bit of that passage and then I'll play Justice Ayah, and then I'll show you the text in which he's talking and the error we have all made. So Let me read a little bit of what happened in Fumban. This is written by, we have had our own scholars who have written on this subject. You have Professor Carson Anyangwe, his writings. Let me show you the things I have read previously on my own research. This is in my own file in my computer. You have Carson Anyangwe, you have Jua Collins, you have Pa Pongala 4, you have, I'm telling you the people's writings that I have read on this subject. You have, there are many. I think I've read about completely on this subject of the union. So I've well read. I'll now give you commentary from a Jonah Global Initiative about the commentary our people have made about the Fuman Conference. Listen this carefully. The British Southern Cameroon, led by Jongu Foncha, as the date the British Southern Cameroon was still under the United Trusteeship, evolved towards the termination of the Trustee Territory Agreement for Independence, while La République du Cameroon, this is talking about the Fuman Conference, reports that in 1961, Fuman Conference reviewed that Amadou Ahidjo of the Republic of Cameroon chose Fumban because it was a good place for them to relax. So this now, I want to go fast. These are my notes, so don't worry. Okay, this is the crux of the matter. These are from notes of our own scholars. Okay, Amadou Ahidjo then invited the British Southern Cameroons to sit to make comment on his draft constitution. The request by President Amadou Ahidjo shattered the trust and confidence of the British Southern Cameroon delegation, who, surprised by his request, which constitution? The British Southern Cameroon delegate shouted. They had thought they had come to Fumban together with Amadou Ahidjo delegation in order to jointly negotiate the terms of a constitution for the Federal United Cameroon. This is a quote from Carson Anyangwe's writing. This is another quote from Namuso Baye, who also have written on it. Say, one of the delegates of the British Southern Cameroon said, we have the feelings that we have wasted our time coming to Fumban for a draft to be tabled in this fashion for our observation in this way. This is a total contradiction to our expectation. Instead of a draft of a federal constitution, we are being requested to make observation on the draft highly centralized constitution with unlimited powers. So these are the delegates of our country talking about what was happening in Fumban, their comment. Amadou Ahidjo gave them a draft constitution. They were just told to give their observation. According to Ndenge and Temfak in their publication, they say there were bitter protests that erupted from time to time from our delegation from the Southern Cameroon, which demanded more than a week to study the draft without success. That means they asked for 3 weeks to study the draft document. It was rejected. They recorded the Constitutional Conference in London. They tell the Cameroon people that in London, when they had a Constitutional Conference, they debated for at least 3 weeks. And Endele also said the same thing, that he wanted more time, that there was not enough time, and it may have serious consequences. Ngomjo also screamed, I have never seen people expected to write constitution in 2 days. So the tense atmosphere continue and all the shouting and all those stuff. And finally, after midday meal, and alleged that the British Southern Cameroon delegation sat down to work and study the draft constitution presented by Amadou Ahidjo, using experience gained during the Constitutional Conference in London. British Southern Cameroon delegate worked hard on the draft brought to them from Yaoundé, as Temfak had also reported, while the British Southern Cameroon delegates were working in anger, distrust, and suspicion the delegates of Cameroon were relaxed, as they had spent months to draft the constitution with the assistance of the French government and the French constitutional expert. They reported that the atmosphere to work was often rowdy. So this is the account of what happened in Fumban. And there is a reason why I have to spend time to explain to our people what happened. They went to Fumban and Cameroon presented them a draft constitution to give their observation. They gave 12 points of observation. One of them included that they wanted Douala to be the capital of Cameroon because Douala was partially captured by the British government and later on handed back to France when they were partitioning the German Cameroon. So they had always think that strategically the people of Douala were more closer to our people, and it was better for them to have Douala as a capital instead of Yaoundé. Those propositions, all of what they said there was rejected. So basically, the constitution was adopted, or you had a constitutional document that was presented as a constitution because they had the date of discussion was limited till 1st of October. It ended there. So after 1st of October, the British mandate was terminated. Southern Cameroon was removed from the Committee of Trusteeship, and the adjoining came into effect, and the constitution that was submitted to the United Nations was seen as the constitution of the new Federal Republic of Cameroon. I want us to go back to the text, to what Justice Ayah is saying, so that we can examine it word by word and see what we went wrong and what was wrong, and where we made mistake, and what is the right thing, what is the fact and what is the truth.
I hear you journalists call it crisis. How can you be fighting a war on the ground, from the air, with armored cars, and you call it crisis? It's a war. The day we admit that the decolonization of southern Cameroon ended inconclusively will be the beginning of the resolution of the present situation. Without that, we are just beating about the bush. Let us begin there and forge ahead. When I was in politics, I said, faced with the present situation, let us come together, come up with a constitution that will be adopted by the two sides, and we rule the country in a 10-state federation. That document between the two parties, even in the absence of the United Kingdom, would be a document that will evidence the joining. As of now, let the President of the Republic or
so Pa Ayah Paul, it is suggested we fit down we for Ambazonia and La Republic for create a new constitution where go represent the joining without the British. So if the point na say because the British government will not be there for day, it means that document will not be united. Then a proposition say if we join, we discuss without the British go make the government, the joining be united. It show na some lapses in that approach, that logic. And I will take on back for the first point where Justice Ayah make so that I make a clarify and before come we'll jump go back to place ID. I want me repeat them so that me will go word to word. Make all man know the truth from any misconception and make all man know the facts.
First, by telling the truth, by facing facts. Tell the truth. Let us face facts. The famous United Nations Resolution 15, 1606, of 21st April 1961, called on three governments, the UK, the Republic of Cameroon, and Southern Cameroons. Southern Cameroons had a government at that time to come together and finalize the joining. That's the word they used, I think in capital letters, to finalize. Even quacks at law know that there is no international come together that is oral, that ends up in oral resolution, in oral whatever. Everything is documentary.
So, make we get the facts straight. The document, the statement where Justice Ayah read them, where now most things the way we would read, I believe say this particular interpretation start with Ebenezer Kwanga when he created the Youth League. The whole issue say the United Nations resolution says that they should come and finalize. It's not a complete statement. There is paragraph 3 that precedes paragraph 4 that states that on the 1st of October 1961, the United Nations trusteeship agreement with the British government shall terminate. And on that same day, Cameroon, the Southern Cameroon will join La République du Cameroon, will have independence by joining La République du Cameroon. On that day, the statement that they should finalize that conversation, he didn't complete the statement. It says, before the 1st of October, they should finalize discussion in view of implementing a decision that have been taken. So the discussion to unite, that or the contract to unite was not conclusive, but the union was conclusive. The Cameroon government, as we have learned, just giving this point because we have obligation to put the truth out there, not that we are talking on their behalf. The Cameroon government, their own point that we have learned through the negotiation process is that when we say that there is no union for them, that is outlaw, that is radicalism, that is war. So if you come out to Cameroon and then you say that we are not part of Cameroon, we were never united, they will arrest you. That is what they have said. So people walk that close line. Somebody like Justice Ayah have been investigated for similar crimes. That is the point of Cameroon. We have to know what the enemy is saying. It's very important. That is their point. If you look at the text of the United Nations Resolution 1608, our people should be able to come to their senses that due to our inability to have military victory, due to our inability to get recognition, and because it is not acceptable for us to have perpetual violence in our territory, it is time for us to end the incitement and come and do the hard work on how we can have a new social contract with Cameroon on how we can live side by side. We should tell the truth. Our territory was united with Cameroon. The union between the two countries was in effect from the 1st of October 1961. What was not finalized, which we use to invoke emotion and sympathy when we appeal for our case for self-determination, we talk about the injustice that was done. First, that they didn't accept our will that we wanted independence. Second, what type of a thing is unity by joining, but it is a law. What type of thing is that? So we say all those things to show that they had cheated us. They had cheated us because we could have better. But we cannot say that our aspirations are facts. We are united with Cameroon. The United Nations consider us as one country. What is the root cause? Is that the constitutional talks in Fumban was inconclusive. Our delegates that represent our territory have never had a meaningful say in how the country has to move forward. When they say you join somebody who is already independent, even though they are telling you that you are going to be equal partners, there was nothing equal partners in that document. The fact that the president of French Cameroon is the head of state and our own was the vice, and the head of state have the power, according to the constitution, to dismiss him as he will, shows you that it was never equal. The Cameroon delegations who were coming there, they know that they were just getting us to integrate into Cameroon. That was their plan all along. The British knew, everybody knew. The only people that were deceived are our people, and that is our plight, that is our focus on our appeal for the conscience and the emotions of the war to look at us and say these people need justice. And everybody will accept that we must have a say. The peace plan paper, which we have called for the devolution of Cameroon, for Cameroon to devour power from its constitution, to give our people self-governance, is the right way to go. But before we can get there, which is what we have been doing 1 year, we must conform to international law. We must accept this reality. Otherwise, we will have to fight the war to get what we want. And we have come to the conclusion that it is the right thing to do because, first of all, it is the truth. We are united with Cameroon. We want to separate. That does not undermine our aspiration. The whole world knows that we don't have any say in that country. We were tricked into that agreement. But that is a mistake. And that this are some of the consequences we suffer because of the wrong mistakes and the incompetencies of our forefathers. These are our consequences. But we must know the truth. The whole issue that there was no union treaty was not a condition for the unity. The condition was the termination of the British government mandate, and the union will start in effect. The plebiscite was referred to as a decision, not as an opinion. In the United Nations resolution, and I'll read it again. It is written there very clearly so everybody can know. The plebiscite was not what it was supposed to be. It was a decision and acknowledged as such by the United Nations resolution. In the second paragraph says, endorses the result of the plebiscite that the people of the Southern Cameroon have decided to achieve independence by joining the independent Republic of Cameroon. So the plebiscite was a decision. Whatever they told us was not accurate, was deceit. But if this text is the source of our power, this text have said that the plebiscite was a decision. So all the debate we are having, we use that to fight war, to instigate our people to fight. But at one point, when the killing is too much and we realize that we cannot have liberation by war because of our internal dynamic, we cannot have recognition partially because of the same, then we must now come to the table and concede this part. The Cameroon government have conceded that original position that they were saying that they dismissed there was no Anglophone problem. They have conceded that there is a root cause. Through negotiation process, they have come to the same conclusion that there is a root cause. So we must also come to some concession and say that, okay, if the Cameroon have come out with their resolution that they are now realizing their mistake, that there is an Anglophone problem, that our people need to sit down and talk about it. We are proposing that we should engage with direct negotiation and we should drop the demand for immediate independence, and we can secure that independence in this arrangement. So let's hear the remaining presentation of Chief Justice.
How could you be fighting a war on the ground from the air with armored cars and you call it crisis? It's a war. The day we admit that the decolonization of southern Cameroon ended inconclusively will be the beginning of the resolution of the present situation. Without that, we are just beating about the bush. Let us begin there and forge ahead. When I was in politics, I said, faced with the present situation, let us come together, come up with a constitution that will be adopted by the two sides, and we rule the country in a 10-state federation. That document between the two parties, even in the absence of the United Kingdom, would be a document that will evidence the joining. As of now, let the President of the Republic or whosoever else. Refer us to any document saying that there was joining.
So I think say the United Nations resolution part 2, part 4, all states that there will be a joining of the two territories on the 1st of October. There is no doubt about that. The United Nations document is very clear. There will be a termination of the trusteeship agreement. There will be an effect of the union between the two territories. We had up to the 1st of October to negotiate the implementation of that joining. It was not negotiating the joining, it was negotiating the implementation. The decision of whether we join La République or not was sealed in the United Nations Resolution 1608. The paragraph 2 and 4 clearly states that the decision for joining was the plebiscite. It was not an adoption of any resolution, it was the plebiscite itself. The constitutional union is acceptable under the United Nations charters for the trusteeship territories. It is acceptable. There were more than one ways you could attain independence. Some was through self-governance and other way by joining. So these were all the law. We may say that we don't like the issue by joining, but that was a law. We cannot say that it wasn't the law. Otherwise, on what basis are we arguing? The authority comes from the text, from the law, and that is what the text says. The text says that on the 1st of October, the British trusteeship will be terminated. The union will come into effect.
The UN resolution never mentioned the British High Commissioner, called him ambassador. It named 3 entities: the Republic of Cameroon, the United Kingdom, and the government of Southern Cameroon. Even in the absence of Britain, we can, as black people, Bantus, agree to be together on terms.
So Justice Ayah they say the same thing while they talk up. Say even in the absence of the British, the two sides as Bantu people can sit down and make a decision, and those decisions will be binding. So the idea that the British government was not there does not make it invalid. Because right now, Justice Ayah is saying that if the two of us can sit down and talk like reasonable people, the decision is binding. And that is what happened in the Fumban. The two sides sat down. The constitution was adopted. The conversation was adjourned. The constitution of the Federal Republic of Cameroon was submitted. In that capacity, Jongu Foncha was the vice president. In that capacity, other appointments were made. We were sharing the same currency. In that capacity, it came into effect. There is no other way somebody can say we were not joined with Cameroon. Jongu Foncha henceforth referred to former French Cameroon in his state, in many of his speech, former Southern Cameroons, former British Southern Cameroons. So those are the facts.
State down the terms. If we don't agree, there's nothing wrong in being side by side as two contiguous countries.
Southern Cameroonians were asked if they want to become independent by joining La République du Cameroun at the time, or by joining the Federal Republic of Nigeria, the plebiscite.
You see, that's the international fraud in the whole thing. How can you become independent by joining? That you become independent by leaning on somebody else. That's where the whole thing, where the whole fraud began. But to answer your question, the plebiscite was a declaration of intent. We want to join, to achieve independence by joining. Declaration of intent. And the United Nations itself came out with a resolution, 1608, bracket 15, of April 21, 1961, saying that these 3 entities I've named a number of times here, the United Kingdom, the Republic of Cameroon, and the government of Southern Cameroons, come together and finalize. I've told you that word to the best of my memory. It's written in capital letters, to finalize.
So I think we have separated we have known the facts and the truth. That is the document. The finalized is not in capital letter. It's not a big. It's not that it is a big thing that if it is a capital letter or not. But the fact of the matter is that paragraph 4 says that the plebiscite is a decision. It basically says it decides that the plebiscite haven't been taken. Come down, you see that it says that it in accordance with Article 76 of the Charter of the United Nations, that talking about sovereignty extinction. That those are the laws that talks about sovereignty. You go to paragraph 2 of the same document. B, paragraph 2B, it says that the people of the Southern Cameroon have decided. So there is nothing that the plebiscite was an opinion, it was a decision. Decided in past tense to achieve independence by joining. They decided already. It was not an opinion. Even though the word in grammar, in law is a technical language. So technical language, you use its own dictionary. In the terms that are being used here, the dictionary is the text itself. So if you go and look at the text, it says that union by joining was decided in the plebiscite. Whatever story they were telling us, it was our people who were not competent, or they knew, because that was what Jongo Foncha was campaigning all along for. So these are the facts, and you can see for yourself. And let me play and let's complete the video.
So long as that was not done, there is nothing final. There was nothing final about the joining or independence or whatever.
So there is nothing final, but there was nothing final concerning the terms of union, the terms, the arrangement on how we can live together. Nothing was final. That is why even Paul Biya had called for the tripartite conversation, where Kasna Nyangwe and Simon Monzo were all appointed to represent our territory there. That conversation needs to continue. We need to sit down and have a proper social contract. And the Ambazonian People's Right Advocative Platform have proposed a peace plan paper that calls for the devolution of Cameroon, devolution of power. We do not aspire to demand for federalism because we know that it is a waste of time. The French system do not federate. That has been well researched. We studied the responses of the French government in France that are like the big brothers of the Cameroon government, and we know for sure that those who are asking for federalism, there is no way they will federate. But the devolution of power is something that France have done, Britain have done, Canada have done. Many African countries have done similar things. They give us power and authority to govern, manage our own budget, elect our own officials. And we will have, this solution is coming from us, Ambazonia. My platform, amongst all of us, the separatists, I'm the biggest personality right now. I have the biggest influence over our territory. When it comes to command and control, there is nobody who have command and control. It is more of instigation, or people giving themselves names that they don't have. So I speak from the authority as somebody who have served in all the Ambazonian organization, have sent men to war, have recruited people, trained people, and asked our people to fight for independence. I have the mandate, and I will speak for the best interests of our liberation struggle. We have come to a point where there is a stalemate. We cannot accept perpetual war and violence. Our soldiers in the ground have transformed themselves. This war can go on and it will not affect Cameroon in any meaningful way. Our attacks have not given a dent in the Cameroon military infrastructure, and we must recognize our limits. To concede reasonably is not a weakness. It's out of self-preservation. It's for our desire to become independent. Because failing to do so, we will fall into the category of the Tema Tigers of Sri Lanka. What our soldiers are going to be transformed into, it will be like the Lord Resistance Army in Uganda. And that is not what we can live with or we can accept.
I'm not saying it, I'm saying that's what the United Nations said should be done. And if anybody under the sun can show us today that is the document that the three entities met and agreed, these are the terms, if they bring us that document, all the killing today, everybody will tell those who are fighting that, look at This is what was done.
So what Pai is saying is very important here. He's talking about the terms. I think he knows in his heart what he's talking about, because there's also politics in this thing. We say certain things because we want the people to fight. But when it comes for time now to negotiate, and we know that without this concession, there will be no negotiation. Everything that is working now in terms of international negotiation process going on right now is because I've taken the stand on behalf of this struggle to step down from that demand of independence and demand something less. And that is just the truth. We have to come together and make this social contract. We have to stand and do the right thing.
Your forefathers, by your parents. What are you fighting for?
What Pai is saying is true, that if we tell the truth to the soldiers, we tell them the truth, and we have real solution, there will be no war. And Cameroon should understand that the killing on both sides will continue until the Cameroon itself will also accept that our people deserve this self-governance. Even if they don't give us, we have demonstrated power in the ground, and we can always do it again, even bigger than what we have done so far. That we can deny Cameroon the right to govern our territory. We can make our territory ungovernable for them. We can make them to continue to pay a price each time they come to our territory. That is not needed. We can sit down as Bantu people and strike out a new social contract, the devolution of power, so that our people, just like the people of Northern Ireland and Scotland, will have a pathway through democratic process to their own aspiration. Let us complete what he says.
Can show us today that is the document that the three entities met and agreed. These are the terms. If they bring us that document, all the killing today, everybody will tell those who are fighting that, look at, this is what was done by your forefathers, by your parents. What are you fighting for?
So the power for this war to end lies in the solution. If the solution is there, we can take this solution and show the soldiers on the ground that, look, this is what we have. This is what we can have. But without anything that is really just, any solution that have been dictated from Yaoundé to us, called the so-called special status, can never work. It will never work. Our people must be respected. Their dignity must be restored. It starts with Cameroon's head of state, the central government of Cameroon, recognizing not just in their declarations, but implementing it by giving us that say to sit down and tell them how we can live together, how we want to live together with them. Not just how they want us to live together, but how we want to live together with them. And this position we have taken is the right thing and the reasonable thing that should happen.
But will tell them, no, you are wrong. But glossing over everything, glossing over doesn't help anybody. When you tell them the truth, as I'm telling you here now, they send people after you to kill you.
So that is from what we have heard. Cameroon do not kill people who do not cross that line. They say, that's what they say. This is ridiculous. Like they have the right to kill anybody anyway. For them, so long as you don't say that we are not together, we are not part of them, then they will not kill you. That is what they are saying. So the problem of Cameroon is that we say that we are not united with them, and they know that that is not true. I think that is why no matter what we say, the international community will keep on saying that Ambazonia, we are trying to create something new. No, because it doesn't conform with the reality of international law. In reality, we have united with French Cameroon. We are one with them. The central government have just taken advantage of the lack of any document that binds or defines our own will on how we want to live on, and they have made us third-class citizen. That must come to an end. Our people must be given an equitable chance to have a say in a new social contract on how we can live together. We can live together with French Francophones. If fighters in Bui can forgive Sako for killing their own people, then they have told us that we can. We can do it for humanity's sake.
If they kill everybody, there will be, leaders of corpses, leaders of the dead. We'll tell them what can, bring us a lasting solution. And not by going to dish out money to people in Canada. Since they went to Canada, where are those Anglophone leaders? Do we hear them again?
So, just to clear that, because I was one of the Anglophone leaders in Canada, no money was given to anybody in Canada. No money. The Canadian government was there. The United Nations was there. Our people should stop the imagination that every time you meet Cameroon people, they give you money. The Cameroon government is at war with us. They are trying to kill us. They know that we are fighting them. They know that if we have money, we will use that money to buy guns. The only people who have been given money to by the Cameroon government, they have never negotiated with those people. Those people, you can know from what they are saying, they are not telling people to go and fight Cameroon. They are only doing things that are going to turn the population against the struggle so that the blood will continue to flow and Cameroon will win. So there was no evidence that somebody was bribed in Canada. It is just preposterous. I think all these things are just our own people, their imagination. People can actually come to decision without being bribed. We are noble people. We were few of us who stood out there to take the mantle, to take the risk and put ourselves out to speak on behalf of our people, to radicalize the youth, to call them to pick up arms, to train them at our own very risk. The Cameroon president have come out and listed us as people that they want us dead or alive. They will do everything to bring us, just like they did with Siseko. So nobody back home should sit and run their mouth about us, what we are doing as leaders here. We have taken the lead to call people to pick up weapons, to send people to kill in self-defense of our land. And that must be respected. With all respect to our Chief Justice Ayah, nobody have received bribe in Canada. Nobody. What they have actually they are coming around and talking about is just ridiculous. And I think it has more to say with them. We are here struggling to work hard in our day job to make ends meet, and people are talking about money. Let's focus on facts and substantiated facts, not fixed imaginations. So let's continue.
But when the money gets finished, they will go back to their original, stance. It won't help us. It's not helping us. Let us sit down and talk. Talk to the real people. You don't make a grand dialogue and you call a certain Bakossi boy to go there and pose as if he was Jesus, dishing out instructions to his disciples. You call the real people, you talk together, you agree.
Not just to be sure that...
So that is a reference to Chief Justice Diongote, the Prime Minister of La République du Cameroon. Anyway, it is what it is. We know that, to be fair to everybody, Diongote have been the most assertive Anglophone Prime Minister in that country. There is no doubt about that. Based on their interaction during those negotiations, he has been very, very assertive to push for the negotiation, whatever was going there. Still, he is a lame dog. He's at the behest of Paul Biya. They say jump, he will jump. They say sit down, he will sit. When Paul Biya wants to greet him, you see how he's trembling. So we cannot receive instruction from him, but we cannot choose who the Cameroon government sent to speak on their behalf. When you go to court, you don't choose the lawyer of your opponent. You defend yourself, irrespective of who the lawyer of your opponent is. So let us wrap up
getting you clearly. When you talk about the real people, who are you referring to?
It's not for me to tell you who the real people are. The arrested people, they are in detention. Today, they know that there are some leaders abroad. In the country here, the Anglophones have kept saying, even before Cardinal Tuli died, I kept saying like him, that nothing works until the Anglophones have met and elected their representatives and documented what they wanted. The Anglophones need to meet and tell you who the real people are. Paul Ayah will be telling you the real people here as who, in what capacity. The Anglophones should be allowed to meet. They will tell you who their leaders are. You sit down with them and dialogue. I believe that if things are clearly stated down as to our living together, peaceful coexistence, it may work. I'm not saying it will, it may. But the brute force will help nobody. The brute force.
Exactly. The brute force will help nobody. We as Anglophone, we must come together. And the coming together must be led by those who are leading the war. During war, politicians take the lead of those who led the war effort. We led the war effort and we are leading the solution for the war. We should bring our people together. The Ambazonian People's Right Advocative Platform has envisaged the Ambazonians to all come together to sit around the table and discuss on our faith. But in a situation where the internal dynamic groups have become so partisan that it is all about the politics of dominance, blackmail, and delusions, where every single Ambazonian has been indicted of working for La Republic and taking money, who are you going to call them to come together? If Ayah is accusing people of taking money, who do you expect to bring people together again? Who are the people leading the war? The ones you see in the diaspora, and the ones who are in the diaspora, they are claiming to be president. Just like the problem when we had the problem of schooling, we knew that our internal dynamic do not allow us to come together. Only solutions can bring us together. We are pushing for a solution for direct negotiations. People are now coming to their senses and they are also trying to engage in similar things. Going there divided will only make us weak. We have well documented our proposition and we have disseminated it to everybody. The public launching and keeping it in the public will come soon. This is the right thing to do. Our people should come together and we will come together to endorse the best chances of what we can get. We have taken the leadership for over 1 year to do this, and so help us God. God bless you all. Have a beautiful sky wherever you are.